What's up, everybody? I'm Leo Reyes Rayon,
I'm Josh Glazer.
and today we're going to finish up all of our pre-draft previews. We're going to start it off with the AFC North, and we're going to start it off with Baltimore Ravens. Man, Baltimore, they have the most explosive quarterback, most exciting quarterback in the game right now, Lamar Jackson, man. What you thinking, man? What you thinking about Baltimore right now?
They got a few distinct holes they need to plug, and they can just somehow improve on a 14-2 team, which is kind of a crazy thought.
Yeah, right. So, what are you thinking, man? I know we're talking about linebacker and receiver. You know what I mean? So, what you
Yeah,
thinking?
so they finished first in both offense and defense in the division,
Hmm.
but it's the way they do business is they now have a ton of draft picks. That's what they usually add. They don't do a lot of free agency stuff. It's kind of
Hmm.
just been the Ozzie Newsome way, and now that he's out there and Eric DeCosta is taking over, it's kind of same thing going on. They're hurting for I see three positions really that they're hurting at. It's linebacker, it's wide receiver, and it's right guard.
Hmm.
With right guard, we can get that out of the way first because it's probably one of the more urgent things because their whole run game was predicated on Marshall Yanda's ability to pretty much just dominate and kind of lift up everyone else around him because he
Right.
was from I think I was reading an article recently where people were asking who they thought the best guard was or in the NFL, and it was between Zach Martin and Yanda, and it was but by all accounts of every offensive lineman they interviewed, it was Yanda. So he's a big loss, but they have a pick at 28 and 55, and I'm sure they attack that need there. So if they go 28, it might be a little high for Cesar Ruiz from Michigan because he definitely fits the billing. He's a big center guard combo out of Michigan that moves pretty well, so he could probably jump right in and fill that spot.
Yeah.
Uh, a couple positions that they could also a couple players they could also use to fill that hole, or is it John Simpson out of Clemson, Lloyd Cushenberry who played more center at LSU but could also probably play guard, and guy Robert Hunt from Louisiana University. And he played a lot of tackle in college, but there's a lot of teams that see him more as a guard at the next level and could see him sneaking into the second round. So
Right.
that's kind of where I see them going at right guard. It's probably their most urgent need, and then probably second most would be linebacker. But they're strange with their linebackers. They either have guys that are stars or they have kind of a rotating group of people. Right now, they don't have a lot in terms of proven players there.
Hmm.
They let C.J. Mosley go a couple years ago, and they just haven't really replaced that player yet. It's 28 is kind of low to be able to think that they can get to maybe a guy like Patrick Queen or Murray, sorry,
Yeah.
from Oklahoma.
Hmm.
So I was thinking probably at 55 or 60 they go linebacker and go after two guys like Malik Harrison out of Ohio State and Logan Wilson. The only issue is there's a lack of range in those players, and they're not the greatest in coverage at this point. But the Ravens have been known to be able to develop guys and to put guys in the right spots. So I think they're probably athletic enough to start, but they may have trouble staying on the field when they get to sub packages, which is where they could use a guy like L.J. Fort, who's already on their roster, who's more of a rangy linebacker who doesn't play the run as well. So maybe they go kind of more role player approach. But the big thing that's going to elevate this team is to finally add a receiver that they could view as a potential number one farther down the
Hmm.
road.
Yeah.
And I think their definition of a number one is a little different. I think they're looking for more of a big-bodied receiver that can play on the outside and can kind of space the field so you can't cheat back towards the middle, where guys like Goodwin and Snead are going. Is it Goodwin? It's
You mean Brown?
yeah, Marquise Brown. I
Yeah.
was calling him Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah.
A similar speed profile, but Marquise Brown's a bad man. He's not the biggest dude, but he can fly. And some of those guys, say they win at 28, and see, there's three positions, and all of them can kind of. It's hard to tell where they're going to go. So I think they'll probably go best available between these three positions we mentioned. But if they go 28, I think T. Higgins is a likely choice for them just because of his ability to go get the ball, and bigger body on the outside, like I spoke of. Denzel Mims, it gives you a little more speed. Not as thick of a player. If they wait till later, a guy like Chase Claypool, a guy from Notre Dame, who's kind of that tight end receiver hybrid, but after his 40 time, you could develop him purely as a receiver and not be completely wrong. Brian Edwards out of University South Carolina is a good option, and Andy Golden is another one that has. It's kind of raw, and I don't know. They may feel burnt from last time they drafted a bigger receiver in Bashard Perriman. He didn't really work out there, so maybe they stay away from a raw guy like Andy Golden. But that's kind of where I see them. Two other places that they could go later, I think, probably, is they need more depth with the DBs because they always seem to lose guys because they never pony up and pay these guys, these lower tier guys that end up making more money other places. So there's the DBs that can eventually develop and just kind of get more guys in the pipeline. And then at tight end, they need a number 3 tight end after losing Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
Falcons because they run a lot of 3 tight end sets. And maybe that changes, but based on the knowledge we have now, that's kind of what they run in terms of their run game and play action and quick passing. And they have the tight ends to do it. So that's kind of where I see it. Any other thoughts on your end?
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree. I think they need a receiver, and all the other things too. I think that they have improved in a lot of ways as well, though, because they added Calais Campbell and I think Derek Wolfe. So it's gonna be interesting to see how their pass rush changes, and I think that they have a lot of it'll be a different type of team, especially if they add more talent outside, with the loss of Hayden Hurst. But yeah, man, I mean, yeah. So I've seen some things of them. Some people talking about them looking for an edge, but just because of the possible absence of like Matthew Judon, which I guess we don't really know the ins and outs of right now. But you know, who knows? Who knows when or if they address that? You know what I mean? But yeah, it should be an interesting time for Ravens. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I think it'll be interesting to see Denzel Mims. I think he would fit in really good with them. You know what I mean? Or Higgins. You know. But yeah.
With the interior guys, you said that they kind of improved that way, but I almost don't see it as improvement because these guys advanced age. I kind of see just maintaining because they lost some guys.
Yeah.
They lost Pierce and they traded a player to the Steelers, another D lineman to the Steelers. I can't remember. His name's escaping me, but yeah, those are kind of they're better, but they originally tried to sign Michael Brockers, but
yeah, that didn't work out.
That didn't work out due to who knows, either money dispute or physical issue. Who knows?
Yeah, I think they couldn't get a physical with the COVID stuff. I can't remember.
Well, yeah, but that's not why. Yeah, some of these fell through, and I think they may have seen something on a partial physical that made them want to lower the money, but I don't want to speculate on that. Yeah, it'll. I think the D-line has to really play above their head in order to make these linebackers' job a lot easier. So the better that they can play, and it's going to be interesting putting in older guys that aren't used to the system and to see how quickly they are able to step in. Because a lot of what the Ravens have done previously is they haven't brought in outside guys on the D-line. They've just continuously drafted and brought people in. So it'll be interesting at that position to see if they are able to have that continuity that they've had that's allowed them to play so well. They're in a good spot though. They're at 5 picks in the top 106, which is a lot of there's a lot of talent in this top of this draft. So they should be in a good position. Where do you have them record wise?
I guess 12-4. I feel like it would be crazy to say they're gonna win 14 games again. So I'm gonna just say 12-4. You know.
Yeah, I have them slipping a little bit, just 13-3, just
Yeah.
because I think that they probably weren't as good as 14-2 last year, but they got really hot. So I'm assuming that they don't get quite as hot. So maybe they drop one game, but I think they'll probably be a better team with having Marcus Peters for a full year
Mm-hmm.
after last year where they were kind of a mess defensively at the beginning of the year, and they kind of fixed it after a while. That's why
Yeah.
they had to score so many points, and they had that game against Kansas City where they kind of real struggled to stop Kansas City.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where 13-3 kind of is where I see it. I see them winning the division, but I think the division overall is going to be tougher. It's a physical division, we know that, and that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. So that's the Ravens. I'm Leo Ray's Rayon,
I'm Josh Glazer.
and we're out. Peace. Thank you.
Y'all take care.